Another package arrived today. What is it? Well, I'll give you a hint. It's a Switch game. One of the last games we got was the Etrian Odyssey Origins collection, which is Etrian Odyssey Part 1, 2, and 3. That's the Korean version there. And I haven't played any of them but Part 1, and I've got several hours into Part 1, and it's a really awesome game. If you've been keeping up with the video game portion of this channel, you'll know I'm into like dungeon crawlers and role-playing games and stuff like that. And in this one, this is a series that I got introduced to back probably early 90s on the Turbografx 16, the CD add-on. There were games in this series, I think, on the Japanese Famicom, Japanese Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Turbografx, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo, PS2, and PSP, PC, and PS4, PS5, and probably some other platforms. Yeah, I think even Nintendo DS had the Ys 1 and 2 remake. Well, I guess you know what. This is a new release. This is Ys Memoire, the Oath of Felghana. Felghana? I think it's Felghana. Refined edition, so it's in a thicker box here. And I guess it includes a music CD and some other stuff. And Xseed releases this in the US. Here it says it includes a acrylic diorama keychain set, 4 postcards, a microfiber cloth, the game, and the CD soundtrack. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a remake and remaster of Ys 3 from maybe the Sega Genesis system. I think the original title was Ys 3 Wanderers of Ys. I was right. So Ys 3 was released in 1990, and Oath of Felghana was originally released in Japan in June of 2005. So they remade the game. Then Xseed released an English version in March of 2012, and a PSP or PlayStation Portable version was also released in Japan in 2010 and in North America. So this release here just came out in January 7th for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation 5. So, Ys Book 1 and 2, English version, was released in 1990 on the Turbografx CD, and this is, like I said, what I was introduced to the game. And these games had been out, like with, I guess, without voice dialogue, without the animated cutscenes and stuff like that. So they added, and of course CD soundtrack. So they added all these, and they combined Ys 1 and 2 together for the Turbografx 16, and they made it so you had to play through Ys Book 1 before you can play, access Ys Book 2 at all. It was a really long game, especially when you combine both of them, but it was one of my top favorite games. I liked it so much, I enjoyed it so much that I played through a second time. So I beat the game 2 to 3 times before moving on to something else. But like I said, I immediately went back and played it a second time. There's only a few games, especially RPGs, that I've done that with, and there was a Nintendo game called Crystallis. I believe I did it with that as well. The fighting style of these games were kind of simple. You didn't swing a sword or anything like that. You just bumped into here's enemy 1 and here's you, boop 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 boop. You bump into it, and you either get slaughtered or you kill the enemies, and you gain experience. If you've played Highlight or whatever on the NES, you probably kind of know that style of gameplay. There's a few games like that that are probably in that 8-bit era, and this is just to kind of give you an idea of how they played. You know, he's got a sword and a shield or whatever in his hand, but the combat mechanics are you just run into the enemies. You know, if you're off with your angle or something, you're going to get hit. If you hit them on the right angle, you'll probably still get hit, but you know, if you're powerful enough, you'll kill the enemy before the enemy kills you. Yeah, it's sort of hard for me to imagine playing a game with those combat mechanics and stuff like that anymore. You know, even like Crystalis, it's kind of just become outdated, but that's what I thought was fun. You know, and they did evolve. The East games did evolve, and they were remade, and a lot of the combat mechanics and stuff have been changed. So there have been several remakes of East Book 1 and 2. There have been, you know, remakes of Part 3, obviously. And even like Part 4, it was split into 2 different games depending on which console you got it for. I think the Super Nintendo had one version where the programmers basically made a completely different game than the PC Engine in Japan. You know, they might have had this sort of similar idea where to start, and it was like programmed from the you know, from the bottom up, both of them, like I said, independently or separately. So you got 2 completely different games. Now, I haven't gotten every different version. I do have the DS version, Legacy of East collection. I got rid of my original English East 1 and 2 for the Turbografx, but I think I got the Japanese version somewhere. But I did get a lot of the PS4 versions, like East Origin. That's kind of a remake or remaster, and East Monstrum Nox, Memories of Felghana. I may not even be pronouncing this correctly. Little collector's edition there. And Lacrimosa of Donna. And yeah, I haven't played through the last one, Monstrum Nox, and I have not gotten the Nordics yet, the last one that's been released. Now, I got this Oath of Felghana East Memoir probably a month ago, maybe, somewhere along that. Haven't opened it up, haven't had any chance to play it yet. But, you know, I'm just now getting to making the video. It's kind of sad that we got a shipping damage, like a crease all along that collector's box there. But we're going to open it up, I guess, and probably not going to play it right now because I hardly ever have time. Okay, hopefully I cut it in the right spot to get the case open. Still looks like I must have missed a spot. Let's try again. Okay. Opens up sideways. There's your main game there. In like a regular Nintendo Switch thing to put on the shelf if you didn't want to keep it in its box. Looks like maybe like a little keychain piece there. There's, I guess, I'm assuming that's the soundtrack CD there. I'm assuming that's the cloth, microfiber cloth. Your postcard set, a little cellophane, and it looks like some, let me see. Oh, that is cool, the acrylic. Wow, that is cool. That's I guess that's the actual keychains there, the acrylic ones. And then there's piece. Wow, I really think that, I dig that. That is cool. It looks like that's gonna make like a pop-up box or a stand or something, so that's gonna, yeah. So maybe when you don't have them on the chain, they go in these little slots there. Well, I was hoping I'd be able to open the box and save the wrap a little bit better, but like I said, it's got that crease there. That probably will devalue it a little bit anyway. But I can't wait to try this. I'll probably do an update video for this one and for Etrian Odyssey, and talk a little bit about my experience playing the game later on. I guess that's it, guys. Take care.